Good day, grade 8 students. Welcome to the 6th week of our quarter 2 for the modular distance learning in mathematics 8. So for this week, we will be tackling about the converse, inverse, and contrapositive statements. So let's start. So before we proceed with the learning proper or the learning procedure of our topic for today, let's have first the learning objective of this topic. So first, at the end of this lesson, you shall be able to determine the inverse, converse, and contrapositive of an if-then statement. Okay? And then, second, you will be able to illustrate the equivalences of the statement on its contrapositive and the converse and inverse of a statement. Okay, so as you can see, this topic has a connection with our previous topic in the last week, which deals with the conditional statements or if-then statements. Okay? So with that being said, let's have a recall of our topic last week. So let's try to convert the following statements or declarative sentences to its conditional statements or if-then statements. So for example, we have Balileños are great leaders. So ang pinakamagandang gawin natin dito is to add if and then add then. Okay? So how do we do it? That's it. If you are a Balileño, then you are a great leader. Okay? If-then statement. So kapag may if-then statement or conditional statement, always remember that it is comprised of the hypothesis and the conclusion. In this statement, the hypothesis would be you are a Balileño. And then the conclusion would be you are a great leader. Okay? So in symbol, we write it as you remember as P implies B. Okay? So that's how we represent a declarative sentence to, or that's how we convert declarative sentence to an if-then statement. Okay, let's have example number 2. So we have triangle is a three-sided polygon. Again, triangle is a three-sided polygon. So triangle is a polygon, but it's a three-sided polygon. So how do we convert it? We just have to write, yes, if a polygon is a triangle, then it has three sides. Okay, so the hypothesis would be if a polygon or a polygon is a triangle. And then the conclusion is it has three sides. Alright, let's go with the last example. Alright, so January 3 is the resumption of classes. Okay, so this is our declarative sentence. How do we convert it to its conditional statements? Or its conditional statement, we have, if it is January 3 already, then the classes will resume. Or the classes resumes. Okay? So the hypothesis would be it is January 3 already, or it is January 3. And then the conclusion, the classes resume, or the classes will resume. And alright, as we remember, as we are doing our recall, always remember that a conditional statement has two parts. Okay? If, which is the hypothesis, or the if part includes the hypothesis, and then the then part includes the conclusion. In the conditional statement, you have to identify the hypothesis and the conclusion. So always remember the conditional statement, the format, the hypothesis, and the conclusion, because this will play a necessary role for us to understand our topic for this week. And yeah, let's go with this topic. So conditional statements has its different forms. The converse statement, the inverse statement, and also the contrapositive statement. Okay, so ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng mga ito? Okay, so let's go with them one by one. Let's go first with the converse statement. Okay, so the converse statement states that the converse of an if, okay, so the converse of an if-then statement is obtained by switching the hypothesis and the conclusion. Okay, take note of the word, switching. Okay? Ano nga daw yung pag-switch natin? We have to switch the hypothesis and the conclusion. If the original statement or original conditional statement is written as P implies Q or P arrow Q, then its converse would be Q implies P or Q arrow P. And that will be read now as if Q, then P. Okay, so tatandaan, sa converse, binaligtad mo lamang yung ating P arrow Q. Okay, naging Q arrow P na siya. Okay? So, yun yung pattern ni converse statement. And then, you will read them na as if Q, then P. So, para mas maintindihan, let's have an example. Yes. So, the example would be, if you have an excellent grades, then you are an honor student. Okay, so for us, I understand this first, we have to identify dito sa conditional statement natin na ito, alin nga ba dyan ang P at alin ang Q. So, kung ito ay conditional statement or original conditional statement, we all know that the if part contains the hypothesis. So, this would be your hypothesis. If you have excellent grades, then so that is your hypothesis. And then, that's your P. Yung then part, that includes naman the conclusion. So, meaning, you are an honor student is your conclusion. Okay po? So now, if you have that, therefore, we can have the converse of it. Okay, so we have P implies Q, baliktarin lang daw para maging converse. We will have, ayan, so we have, if you are an honor student, di ba ito yung ating Q, then you have excellent grades. Okay, so as easy as that. This is the converse statement, and then this is the original conditional statement. That's just how you convert it. From P arrow Q, naging Q arrow P. Alright. Yes, let's go with the inverse statement. So when we say inverse statement, ito naman, the inverse of an if-then statement is the negation of both hypothesis and conclusion, but same format. Hence, it can be written in the form of not P implies not Q. Okay, how do we read it? Again, this is read as if not P, then not Q. Okay, take note of the words that I have underlined. So, una, negation. Ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng negation? When we say negation, ginagawa mong negative yung statement. Okay? So, pag sinabi daw nating inverse statement of an if-then statement, ano po? Siya ay yung opposite or negation ng iyong hypothesis and conclusion with the same format. Diba? Ang original format natin ay P arrow Q. Now, kapag inverse ka na, magiging not. Okay? So, take note of, baliktad. So, take note of the symbol not. So, not P, arrow, not Q. Same PQ pa din, pero ang pinagkaiba nga lang niya sa original, mayroon ng not. Ibig sabihin, inenegate mo na yung iyong original statement. So, sir, paano ba natin inenegate ang statements? Here's an example. Yep. So, the example would be, if it is Friday, then we go shopping. Or if it is Friday, then we go shopping. So again, the first step is to first find the P or the hypothesis and the Q or the conclusion. And we all know in the original conditional statement, the if part contains the hypothesis. So if it is Friday, that contains the hypothesis. So the hypothesis is it is Friday. And then the conclusion is inside the then part. So then we go shopping. Ibig sabihin, the conclusion is we go shopping. Q. Alright? So you have P, then Q. P arrow Q. And then paano nga ulit natin siya gagawing inverse? Sabi ay, okay, not P, arrow, not Q. So, gagawin mong negative ito at negative din ito. Okay? So, paano yun? So, we will have, yes, this one. We have, if it is not Friday, then we will not go shopping. Okay? So, same pa rin. Ito pa rin yung hypothesis mo. Yung it is Friday, pero ang pinagkaiba, nagkaroon ka na ngayon ng not. Then yung conclusion mo, still, we go shopping. But, nagkaroon ka na ngayon ng not. So, we will not go shopping. Okay? Or we don't go shopping. Okay? So, that's the inverse of an if-then statement. How about the contrapositive statement? Yan. So we have the contrapositive of an... Okay, so the contrapositive is the inverse of the converse. Or the converse of the inverse of an if-then statement. Sir, medyo magulo yun. Ano? So, para hindi mahirapan, always look for the pattern or for the symbol. Now, take a look at the original conditional statement. The original conditional statement will always be written as P arrow Q or P implies Q. Then, its contrapositive will be written as not Q, arrow, not P. Okay? So, nag-converse ka muna bago mo ninegate yung converse mo. Okay? So, pinagpalit mo muna yung P and Q. And then, saka mo naman nilagyan siya ng negation. Okay? This is read as if not P, then not, if not Q, then not P. That is the contrapositive statement. Para mas maintindihan, here is an example. Yep. So the example would be, if I did sleep early, then I can come with you. Okay? So we have first find the P part, or the P, or the hypothesis. The hypothesis is always in the if part. So the hypothesis is, I did sleep early. And then the conclusion is in the then part. So we have, I can come with you as your conclusion. So to find the contrapositive of this conditional statement, ano nga po ulit? Pagpalitin, you have Q, arrow, P. And then, lagyan mo ng negation. So, you will now have not Q, arrow, not P. Now, how do we write it? Not Q muna. I can come with you. So, ano ang kabaliktaran noon? Anong negation noon? I cannot come with you. If I cannot come with you, then, anong kabaliktaran ng P? I did sleep early. So, ibig sabihin, I did not sleep early. And that makes sense kasi ang sabi niya doon sa original statement mo ay kung ako daw ay maagang matulog, then masasamahan kita. Ngayon, sa iyong contrapositive, ang sinabi mo na, kaya naman kung hindi kita masasamahan, ibig sabihin, hindi ako nakatulog ng maaga. Okay? So, that makes sense, right? So that's the converse, inverse, and contrapositive statements. Okay? So take a look and take note of this symbol. Okay? Always remember, that the conditional statement or the original conditional statement is written as P arrow Q. If P, then Q. The P is the hypothesis, Q is the conclusion. Then the converse statement would be Q arrow P. If Q, then P. Walang negation. Converse. Now, inverse naman is the same format with conditional statement but with negation. So, not P, arrow not Q. Or, if not P, then not Q. And then the contrapositive statement, converse lang siya with negation. So, you have not Q, arrow not P. If not Q, then not P. So, saan nga ba namin gagamitin itong conditional statements, the converse, inverse statement, and contrapositive? So, just a short discussion. This topic will be helpful for you to understand or for you to have a strong foundation in understanding arguments. And arguments are being used in a debate. Okay, so kung gusto mo maging isang magaling na debater, i-master mo ang pag-intindi sa conditional statement, converse, inverse, and contrapositive statements. Diba? Dito mo makikita, dito mo malalaro yung hypothesis and conclusion ng kalaban mo. How will you negate it and how will you converse it or inverse it? Okay, so that's the application of the converse, inverse, and contrapositive statement.